Yeah! Get up!
What is up, everybody? I am that one guy, and several months ago I started up a series on my channel that it didn't take off like I thought it would. And at the time, you know, I can't tell you what my subscriber total was. We're up to about 925 right now, so we're on our way to 1,000. But at the time, I released a couple videos called my favorite motorcycle movie moments, and I definitely had intentions on extending my favorite motorcycle movie moments to just media moments in general, meaning television and movies included. But I was going one bike at a time, and to me it was kind of like I was giving you more information maybe than you were looking for on a certain motorcycle from a movie or a TV show. So what we're going to do here is we're going to break this down, and I'm only going to do a couple more videos on this subject, but the one I wanted to hit up first was motorcycles from movies that were used as practical set pieces, meaning that the bikes used in these movies were absolutely functional, even though they may have looked futuristic, even though they may have looked strange. These bikes were not utilizing CGI or computer-generated images to be on film. And the first one that I wanted to talk about, because like him or not, he's kind of one of those guys whether you love him or you hate him. Tom Cruise in Oblivion rode a bike that was completely functional, looked very futuristic. And the reason this bike is notable is not only because Tom Cruise always rides his own motorcycles in his movies. I know that there are certain stunts that they do in the movies that he isn't doing that, but most of the time when you see Tom Cruise riding a motorcycle in a movie, he's actually riding that bike. So that is the first reason, other than the bike just looks friggin' cool. It's not just a motorcycle in a movie. They built a motorcycle for the movie. So that's number one. Number two, Tom Cruise got in an accident on that bike on set during the movie. And whenever that happens to actors, first of all, you're worried about whether the actor is okay. That's obviously the first thing on your mind. The second thing is it going to halt or slow production, which means it's going to cost the studio more money. I can't think of a movie that's been canceled because of an accident like that, but it's definitely costly, not just to the actor, but to the studio. So, Oblivion, the motorcycle from Oblivion, right around those same lines is one of my other favorite bikes from a movie that was a practical effect or a functional motorcycle, is the bike from Star Trek. Now, I'm not talking about Star Trek, the traditional Star Trek. I'm talking about the new Star Trek movie with Zachary Quinto and Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana. The bike that Kirk rides up on his way to join the Academy. But I do love that bike. I love that movie, and I love the new Star Trek series. Fun fact about this bike was that it was electric, so it didn't make any noise. So the noise that you heard, they used the sound effect that they used for like the cars, the flying cars in the Jetsons. So yeah, just a fun fact for you on that one. Another practical effect motorcycle that was used in movies that I really liked, was a big deal at the time, but is now actually turning into a production motorcycle that was used in a movie, was another electric bike used in Avengers Age of Ultron, and it was the Harley-Davidson Livewire. And at the time it was the Project Livewire because it wasn't a production motorcycle, but they actually used the Livewire in the movie. Scarlett Johansson did ride it a little bit, but most of the time it was her stunt double. But that bike was used for the movie before Harley-Davidson had made the decision to make it a production bike. That bike will be for sale next year. It's not the exact same bike that you'll see in the movie. The range will be much greater on the production bike, because at the time, the Livewire that they used for the movie, the range was only about 60 miles. And to me, it makes me wonder, they had to have had more than one. I know that they have more than one bike on hand and more than one car on hand when they do these movies for stunt purposes, just in case one gets damaged. They had to have had more than one live wire on the set, because those bikes only had a range of 60 miles, and that's max. So if you're just stopping and going and really giving it, you know, throttle to get these stunts executed, you got to believe that they had a small fleet of live wires out there on set. Now, another bike that they used that was Harley Davidson was in Captain America Winter Soldier. They actually used the Street Series, the 750. Captain America rode that bike right before he jumped over one of the, I don't think it was a helicopter, I believe it was like a jet. But that was pretty awesome to see the Harley Davidson represented in a movie in a non-traditional sense, because, you know, Harley Davidson's represented a lot in movies where you see motorcycles. Harley Davidson obviously is, you know, it's the big name in motorcycles, so people are going to use that for name recognition and just because, you know, they're badass. So, jumping into other practical effect motorcycles, bikes that they made just for the TV show or the movie, and this one is specifically to a TV show, is Daryl Dixon's. It's like a cruiser that he turned into a scrambler, because he rides that thing everywhere, off-road. Obviously, they changed the tires out on it, but the bike is just mean. It looks mean. It sounds mean. For me, watching the TV show, if you watch The Walking Dead, you know that they've got to be quiet because the walkers are attracted to sound. The zombies are attracted to sound. So for Daryl to be riding around on that scrambler that has these you know, loud exhaust on it, probably no baffles. I mean, that thing is just loud. It's kind of an unreasonable thing. They actually use it to distract some of the walkers on that show. So in that sense, it's okay. But every other time he's riding that thing around, it's just, to me, it's as awesome as the bike is, and as much as I like it, it's just so, it's so not functional for the reason that they have it. Right along those lines, as far as scramblers go, or off-road bikes go, was the, and I'm gonna have to pop it up here on the screen when I find out the exact model. But in the movie Skyfall, there's an amazing motorcycle chase scene at the beginning of the movie between Daniel Craig, who's playing James Bond, and just one of the, you know, it's a classic James Bond opening where there's a chase scene, and it's just phenomenal. He's riding that bike around on roofs. I believe he rides it up onto the back of a train. I mean, it's just a spectacular scene that has more to do with the stunts and the film work than it does with the actual motorcycle. Nonetheless, it's freaking awesome, and it needs to be mentioned because one of my favorite motorcycle chase and movie scenes of all time. But hands down for me, if we're talking about all-time favorite motorcycle chase and riding moments, for me it comes from The Matrix Reloaded. Now, say what you will about The Matrix Reloaded or the Matrix trilogy as a whole, but the scene when Trinity, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, is being chased and is going the opposite direction on the highway on a Ducati, that scene is just freaking spectacular. It's so epic, and the stunt work and the camera work on that movie, it's done so well. Say what you will about the entire story arc or the movies themselves, that's the best of the best for me as far as motorcycle chase scenes or motorcycle action scenes. It makes the movie. It's the best scene in the entire movie, is that whole car chase and the chase scene with the keymaster who has to give Trinity the key to the bike instead of figuring out how to hotwire it. It's just, it's pure blockbuster. It's pure action movie imagery. I love it. Obviously, because I can't stop talking about it. So, guys, what is your favorite motorcycle, and specifically what I was talking about this time, action sequences using practical effects and using actual motorcycles? What is your favorite scene? Name it down here in the comments. Let me know. It doesn't even have to be an action sequence, but preferably practical bikes, because I'm going to do another video on bikes that used CGI to use to create the scene and to create the movie magic. That'll be another video. So in the comments, leave it down there for practical effects and actual motorcycles used in movies. Your favorite moments in the comments below. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button, which I'll pop up right over here in this direction. I'll also pop up some links to other videos so you can go straight to one of those if you're in the mood. Guys, if you're out there riding, be safe. And if you're not riding, get riding. This is that one guy, and I am out.